Hey guys, how's it going? This right here is the OnePlus Nord, which is the go-to recommendation for a lot of you guys looking for a great smartphone that does pretty much everything under rupees 30,000. However, when you talk about the camera, for about 30,000, the Pixel 4a stands out as the clear winner for a lot of you guys as well. Now we have already done, well, quite a lot of camera comparisons around the Pixel 4a, but a lot of you guys were asking how does the OnePlus Nord fare against the Pixel 4a, and well, that's what this video is all about. This is Varun from Guiding Tech and you're watching my in-depth camera comparison of the OnePlus Nord with the Pixel 4a. Let's get started. Okay, so let's just start this video off with some video samples because for this camera comparison, I got some really good models. Check them out.
So I'm testing 1080p 30 fps footage and wow, just when I was recording a video both the dogs are stable. But yeah, I figured this was a much more fun way of testing the videos on both the phones. I think one of the most cutest ways as well. There's really smart dogs here in this park. Look at him. Look at his face. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. Maybe I'm exploiting them? Nah, they look so cute, so adorable, man. Anyway, this video should give you an idea in terms of what you can expect from both the phones, in terms of the videos at least. I got some 4K 30 FPS footage with the OnePlus Nord on my left and the Pixel 4a on my right. Some slight lag. Okay, I'm trying to shake the devices, and yeah, from the stabilization you need an idea. So I'm trying to pan the camera around. Let's look at the details on both the cameras. I think the Pixel is way more detailed, but let me tap and focus just to confirm that. Yeah, the Pixel is shooting at a much richer contrast now. And yeah, okay though. I think they know by now that I'm fooling with them. So they understood that yeah, this guy has got no food. He's just come to play with us. Anyway. Oh yeah. There you go. What's up? What's up, boy? What's up, boy? What's up? Alright, so now I'm recording 1080p 30 fps selfie footage from the OnePlus Nord, which is on my left, and the Pixel 4a, which is on my right. And I mean, it's like beating an old drum by saying that Pixel's footage is soft. I mean, selfie camera on the Pixel is very bad. So there's that. But let's just take a look at the color reproduction here. So I'm just going to pan the camera around. You can get an idea of the HDR and the overall colors as well. If I just look at my jacket only, I think the OnePlus is producing a much more color accurate result here. So that's also good. In terms of HDR reproduction, I think Pixel has a slight edge here, as you can notice from the tree leaves here. But for most users, I think, okay, now here is a good example of the HDR. Both of phones aren't that good, but once again, look at these leaves on my left and you'll see that the Pixel has a slight edge, actually a massive edge over what OnePlus is producing here. And then I think for most users, this is more than enough. See, I think if you're not that much into detailing and everything, the Pixel 4a should suffice for that. But if you're very much into vlogging and everything, I think you might just prefer the OnePlus Nord.
Coming on to selfies now, and well, I won't waste much time here. The Pixel has good color reproduction and that's, well, about it. Any phone, like seriously, any phone can beat it in the selfie game. The Nord has decent results here that are sharp and the edge detection in the portrait mode is also good. Could it be better? Well, yeah. Does it beat the Pixel 4a's selfie camera? Easily. Now moving to some daylight shots from the rear camera, let's kick things off here. At the first glance, most of you might prefer the Nord shot here, and that's fair because the lens flare looks really good. However, upon closer inspection, you'll notice that it's the 4a that gets the HDR right, and while there is a tint of saturation on the leaves, I still think I would personally pick the 4a over it. Now in this next shot, you'll once again see that Pixel has a slightly better HDR performance here. That said, if you look at the leaves in the bottom left corner, you'll see there's some graininess on the Pixel shot, while the Nord produces a more balanced result. Now let's talk about some details for a bit. See, the OnePlus Nord, the way it works is that it has a 48 megapixel sensor that pixel bends it into 12 megapixel shots to create some really good detailed images. The Pixel, on the other hand, well, it has a 12 megapixel sensor by default only, but what it does is that it uses Google's image processing to create, add more structure and add more details in the overall image. Now, when you compare both the shots side by side, well, they're quite close, to be honest. For instance, in this first shot, both the images look pretty much the same. The Nord has a reddish hue on some sections of my shoe, but other than that, they both look the same. And even when you peep into the image, you'll see that the Pixel has a slight edge in terms of details here. However, the thing about software is that as good as it is, it's not always going to be better than good hardware, even if it's from Google. Like in this next shot, you can see both the images are really crisp and the Pixel adds a bit of saturation onto the leaves. However, if you just zoom into the bark, you'll notice that Nord has much better details here, and that makes it a winner. You notice that Pixel adds a bit of saturation here and there, right? Well, the Nord does it too, as you can see in this shot right here, which basically highlights the fact that while Pixel's shot might not be fully accurate or something, its shots are mostly consistent, while the Nord can go haywire if you slightly tweak the lighting conditions. Okay, so now let's move on to human shots. Right here, you can see that both the phones produce some really crisp results. But as you would expect, the Pixel has a clear advantage with its face structure and sharpness. Also, another thing that you'll notice is that OnePlus tends to brighten up the face quite a lot. Turning on the portrait mode, and once again the Pixel edges out its competition. Nord has trouble recognizing the borders of my frame, and my face looks way too whitened up. Now, another thing I'd like to point out here is that the bokeh looks more natural on the OnePlus Nord, so there's that. But then again, you can control it on both the phones, so I'll leave it to a personal preference. Let's lower the lights now, and the first thing to note here is that the OnePlus Nord shoots at a slower shutter speed, allowing for more light to creep in. That said, even in that mode, while Pixel's shot isn't entirely well lit, it has still a bit more details. Turning on the night side and the nightscape respectively gives Pixel a really good lead. The Nord does manage to brighten things up more, but there's hardly any detail there. In this next shot also, you can see that the Nord allows for slightly more light to creep into the normal mode. However, turn on the night mode and the Pixel has more details and sharpness while producing a more balanced shot. Now, some of you might like the extra brightness here, but personally I feel that without details it doesn't really matter. Well, what's the verdict here? Well, for the most part, the Pixel manages to beat the OnePlus Nord, especially when you talk about the rear camera. See, in the front camera, it's no point arguing or debating more on this. The Pixel selfie camera is very, very bad. Like I said, any smartphone could beat it, and the OnePlus Nord anyway has a very good, has a decent selfie camera that could use some work, but once again manages to beat whatever the Pixel is producing. Moving on to the rear camera, I still feel that Pixel produces much better and more consistent results, and that is something that I highlighted a while back as well. See, with the OnePlus Nord, even if you slightly tweak the sunlight or your temperature settings, anything slightly changes, you kind of don't know what to expect from the phone. The Pixel manages to keep everything consistent, and well, that just means that as a photographer, when you're taking a photo from your phone, you know what to expect from your device. And that's a very big factor that comes in very handy. Of course, this is something that concerns only to someone who is looking for a good camera phone. The OnePlus Nord definitely has its advantages as well, primarily with the fact that it has more lenses there. So you won't be missing out on certain scenarios, such as if you want to capture something very big like a monument or a group picture, the ultra-wide camera will come in handy. Then there's the macro lens also, which, questionable in its behavior, does give you an added perspective which the Pixel will not do. And then there's also the factor that, well, both the rear camera footages are pretty good, and while Pixel has slightly more crisper and more color accurate videos, the Nord does offer more stabilization, so there is that factor as well. So at the end of the day, you just have to decide which kind of an experience are you okay with. Both of the phones come with their own compromises. Like, obviously right now I'm just talking about the camera part here. Even in that aspect, both the phones come with their own share of compromises, and when you're comparing both the phones, that is one thing that you have to keep in mind when making a purchase. Which kind of compromise are you going to be better with? Well, that's about it. As always, all our camera comparisons and reviews on this channel are unbiased and not sponsored in any matter whatsoever. In fact, we also provide a direct download link to all our videos and images taken from the phones directly for you guys to download and analyze for your own self. And if you disagree in any manner from what all I have said, the comment section is down there for you guys. Shout off below and we'll have a chat there. Till then, this is Varun from Guiding Tech, and I'll see you in the next one.